Guess what? They're dropping some key charges. Here's the headline from the New York Times. Judge squashes 6 charges in Georgia election case against Trump. And this is a big deal because some of these charges that they are dropping, they happen to be some biggies that maybe the entire case is predicated upon. And you know what is amazing? Incredibly amazing is that the mainstream media can't even hide from this. They can't even spin this one. I mean, this must kill them over at state-run MSNBC right now to have to talk about how he's actually scoring a legal victory again. And this one didn't even have to go to the Supreme Court. Imagine that. Let's watch MSNBC and their interpretation.
Momentous decision or monumental decision that could completely derail the case altogether if Judge Scott McAfee were to come out and say he's determined Fani Willis is disqualified.
Yeah. You know, a couple of things. Absolutely. That's what we're still waiting on. And that was kind of the bomb that we were expecting to drop this week. And so this is certainly a separate, unexpected, though certainly consequential ruling from the judge. A couple of things I want to point our attention to, though, when we talk about those 6 counts. Remember, the former president was charged with 13 counts altogether. So for 6 of them to be dismissed, that takes away nearly half the counts that he's facing in Georgia. But when you look at the judge's breaking down of those counts, I want to take you back to what started this whole thing in the beginning. That was that phone call that the former president made to the Republican Secretary of State here in Georgia, Brad Raffensperger, essentially asking him to find enough votes to overturn Biden's election victory here in the state. Well, the judge is basically saying that the charges, the counts related to that phone call, he is throwing out. And so that's kind of what a lot of people know as the biggest thing around these charges for the former president, the biggest kind of action around it. And so the judge in this ruling is saying that those counts related to that phone call are going to be thrown out. What it's also saying is that, you know, part of the indictment is that several members, several people who have been charged, solicited elected members of the Georgia Senate and the Georgia House of Representatives to, quote unquote, violate their oaths by requesting or asking them to unlawfully appoint presidential electors. That's being thrown out as well. And so I think that it's certainly important when we look at the counts, but also what the action, what the alleged action was behind it that's also being removed from this indictment. I've been in touch with Steve Sadow. He is the lead.
You see? I mean, they can't even spin this one. The reality is, they don't have a case. They were going off all these racketeering charges, right? You know, this one was conspiring with this one, and they were having these phone calls, and they were going to do this, that, and the other. And Fani Willis thought she could get him with her brilliant boyfriend, Nathan Wade, on racketeering. Unbelievable, unbelievable stuff. And yet the judge, Brenda Weaver, there in the Superior Court, she said, it's not going to work. And so the judge is dismissing these counts. And I don't know how they're really going to move forward here, given that it was all predicated upon that. The whole racketeering thing.